Eunice Njeri. Happy New Year. We are delighted to be bringing you back our shows after a small unplanned break in the month of December last year. We are coming to you from the Vicmark Hotel that is right in the heart of Nakuru City at the CBD next to Nakuru Odeon Cinema. Vicmark Hotels offers you great accommodation facilities. They have great conferencing facilities, great accommodation facilities, an amazing restaurant and a rooftop lounge. Karibu kwenye show. So we are delighted to be hosting for another time Mr. Francis Mutonyi, the CEO of GoldPlus Advisory. He deals with tax matters, audit matters, and today we want to talk about goal setting and planning for a year. We are back to business owners, so we want to know and understand what is the importance of goal setting and planning for the year 2024. Karibu sana.
Thank you.
Wow. So it's a new year. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year too.
So we would want to understand what is goal setting and the importance of it for business owners.
Thank you very much. First of all is to say hi and Happy New Year to everyone. I hope your year has started very well.
Yeah.
And I also hope that you have good plans for this year. So we are going to be talking about goal setting and business planning in business.
Yeah, true.
And what is business planning? There is a saying that says that a minute planned saves 10 hours of doing.
Wow.
That is, a minute planned saves 10 hours of doing. What does that mean? That means if you plan something, it can save you 10 hours of maybe mistakes and repeating and all that. And I would like to give an example. There was one day I was constructing a chicken house, a chicken coop. And what happened is that I got a fundi, a carpenter, who was not very good, who dealt with masonry. But because I didn't have an option, I went with him. Unfortunately, when we planned everything, he did not factor everything. So what happened is when we started constructing the house, so we would, midway through, he would tell me, I forgot this. Yeah. So let's say, for example, some timber, which are very important, maybe for the frame.
Yeah.
So I would rush to the hardware and then come back. So when I am rushing to the hardware, work has stopped. Yeah, so work has stopped and nothing is going on.
Yeah, true.
So I come back and then we continue. And then after another stage, he tells me, I forgot this. Yeah. So we lost a lot of time. Yeah.
Exactly. I would imagine,
Yeah,
and how frustrating it can get. Yeah.
So we lost a lot of time. So if there was good planning, that means we could have saved those hours. Yeah.
True.
So that is why they say that a minute planned saves 10 hours of doing. Yeah. So planning is very important in our lives, and even in business is very important.
True.
At an individual level and also at the business level. Yeah. So what we now go into 2024. Many businesses, especially for big businesses, they have structures. They do a lot of planning.
Yeah, true.
And they do a lot of planning towards the end of the year. But for small businesses, they don't do planning, and there are some repercussions that come because of that.
Exactly.
Maybe they lose cash. Maybe they don't achieve their targets.
It is true.
Yeah. So because there is also another saying that says, if you don't know where you are going, any road will take you anywhere.
Anywhere,
yeah,
true.
So it is good to have a target of what you want to achieve in a business, and that is a very important aspect for business resilience, for a business to be resilient, and also for a business to grow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So is planning the same as goal setting? The difference? Where's the difference?
Good. So planning and goal setting are similar, but you have plans. So let's say, for example, you might have what we call maybe short-term plans or long-term plans. Yeah. Let's say, for example, for a business. Yeah. So you have this big plan that you want to do. Maybe you want to expand your business. Maybe you only have one branch, or you only have one outlet. Maybe you want to plan and expand that. Yeah.
Exactly.
So then you're going to have goals that
help
so you
you
have the
achieve
the
them.
plans, and then you have goals that milestones that will help you achieve that plan. Yeah. So they are almost the same. They are interrelated, but you have the big plan, and then you have the small goals that are going to help you get to the big plan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, there are people who are sole proprietors,
Yeah.
and you'll find a company that has, let's say, 20 to 30 employees. Those are two different entities.
Yeah.
How can a business owner, now like a sole proprietor and a business owner, a small, medium enterprise with maybe 30 employees, be able to achieve those two milestones, like the planning and the goal setting?
So what
Because
happens
a sole proprietor is more, okay, I am a sole proprietor, I have a fundi, yes, but you see the fundi does not necessarily maybe affect me. So how can I be able to put in place plans for my business, and another business owner with 30 employees, be able to plan ahead?
Okay, so what happens is that number one,
Yeah,
when you want to plan, you have to start where you are.
exactly.
So if you are going for a journey, let's say for example to Nairobi or to Eldoret, where you are determines how you are going. You're going to plan.
Yeah, true.
If you are near Nairobi, it's not the same plan as if you are very far away from Nairobi. It's very
true.
different. Yeah. So number one, you have to factor in at what level, at what stage are you in, at what level are you in. So, so if for a sole proprietorship, let's say for example, they want maybe to increase sales,
Yeah.
or maybe they want to reduce cost, or maybe they want to increase profit. Number one, they must have known how much sales they sold last year. They must know.
Data is very important,
Exactly.
very key.
Exactly. So they must know which were the costs that they had incurred last year. And the more data they have, the better. So if you have a data for 4 years, 5 years, it can show you trends. Yeah. And then from that point, it can help you with the planning. So whatever stage you are in, it doesn't matter. You can be a sole proprietor, or you can be a big enterprise, or an SME maybe with 30 employees. But if you know where you are, it will be very simple for you to be able to plan ahead. Yeah. So and it doesn't have to be complicated. You know, people sometimes think planning has to be very complicated. It doesn't have to be complicated.
It actually does sound very complicated.
No, it doesn't have to be complicated. You can even have a plan on a one page of paper, or you can do a planning session maybe for a day. Maybe you have staff like that staff. Because remember, the reason you are planning, one of the importance of planning is you want to bring people on board to your vision. Because let's say for example you are the CEO, or you are the leader of the organization, or you are the manager. And you have, as you have said, 30 employees.
Yeah.
So what you need these people to see your vision. Like we need to have one vision for this company or for this enterprise. So that you don't have people pulling in different directions.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that is the reason you have people. They come together. They plan from the sales team, from the marketing team, from the people in the account department, or the finance people handling cash. Or even if you are a sole proprietor, or maybe you are in a partnership, maybe with your spouse, so you can and plan. Once you plan, so everybody is on board, and now you are moving in the same direction.
Exactly.
I'll give you an example. Like you have seen sailors or the fishermen on the sea when they are sailing a boat. Yeah, they row on the same direction. Yeah, they are rowing. This is on the left, the other on the right. They are rowing on the same direction. You can imagine what would happen if. This other person is rowing the opposite. They are all rowing in the opposite direction. Yeah. So there is going to be a lot of conflict, or there is going to be a lot of tension, and that boat is going to be swelling in one place. So planning is very important, so that you can bring people on board. Then the other thing is that you have 30 employees, let's say for example, 20 employees. Yeah. After 3 months. After 6 months or after a year, you need to ask everybody, like we said, you're going to be doing this and this. Have you achieved your targets?
Exactly.
Yeah. So like in a year, you have 4 quarters. The first quarter, the second quarter, after 3 months, after 6 months, after 9 months, and after 12 months. So you need to come and ask these people, have you, at what level are you in? So the plan, once you plan, it becomes a measure
to use when
a measure to use when appraising even the staff, and even the organization, to see if
you're really in business.
Yeah.
Now, what are the main I don't know that to call them maybe attributes or elements that one should look into when they are planning? There's a lady who had a very painful story, a lady who does makeup in Nairobi. and she was lamenting, or even actually she put a lot of images on Facebook where how she was, you know, employees would steal money. Is that a case of somebody not planning when they are either away from the business? Because she lost massive amounts of money. She mentioned figures of like 200K per month, one person, somebody making that. What element, or what did she miss for her to be able to get herself into that situation? She lost massively.
So that is something to do with controls. In every business, there must be controls, because as you know, there is a risk of theft maybe by employees.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that is an issue of controls. Maybe she did not plan very well.
Exactly.
That,
in case I'm out here.
Yeah, in case I'm out, what can happen? Yeah, so that brings the issue of risk management. Yeah, so because she cannot run the business alone.
Yeah.
So
it's a huge place, because she has trainings going on, clients coming.
Yeah.
You will find at times she even says she's booked like for 3 months. So you can imagine that's a very busy enterprise.
Yeah, that's a very big business. So she cannot run.
She cannot run it by herself. Yeah.
But when you employ people, that also brings the issue of they can steal from you. Yeah, the issue of risk management. So even when you are doing planning, we also need to do planning for the issue of risk management. Like things can happen. Yeah, even thieves can come.
Oh yeah,
they can be employees can steal, like the way they stole from
exactly.
from her.
True.
Yeah, so when you know the risks that are in the business, what do? You can either eliminate them, you can take insurance, that is something like covering them, you can assess the risk and see how can you minimize, maybe putting a system.
Yeah,
like for some businesses nowadays, like even in our organization, we support people to automate their businesses, such that there is literal handling of cash, and also even when the cash comes, there are records to support that. So if there is any discrepancy, it can be discovered quickly. Yeah. So even when you are doing planning, it is also good to plan about risk management. Yeah. So how do you go around that? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So sometimes if you don't plan around that, you can be caught flat-footed, like she was caught. And,
it was a very sad story. It was very, very sad. Now, it's a new year, and people are setting goals. Do you think this is something that people do for, you know, like everybody's talking about goals and resolutions. Do you think this is something we do because it's being done by everybody else, or because that is what is happening all over? We are talking about goals, new plans, and all that. Do you think we business owners are really FCGs, and especially the sole proprietors?
Thank you, because of that question. Yeah. So,
and especially from the kind of trainings that you've been able to do, I'm sure you can tell most people are not even maybe very serious about.
So what happens with every? So people tend to plan. Let's say, for example, or tend to set new resolutions. Maybe at the beginning of the new year. Yeah. Or even when they hit maybe a birthday day, or maybe at a certain milestone, people will always set goals. Yeah. And the good thing, like in our culture, people go to church, and once they go to church at midnight, they say these are the things they are going to be doing, and even the pastor says receive. Yeah. But unfortunately, once they leave that place, a big percentage, let's say for example, they are like 1% or 2% will forget immediately once they leave that place.
Exactly, true.
And even around 80% of the people, by the third up to 6 months, they have already forgotten about their resolutions. Yeah. So why does that happen? That happens because of various things, and one of the things that happens is because number one is they try too much. Yeah. So you want to do a lot of things at once.
Exactly.
So let's say, for example, you want to lose weight, you want to get married, you want to have a child, you want to buy a car,
you want to stop taking weight like
you want to do all those things, yeah? Maybe within a very short period. Yeah. So what will happen is that your brain is going to get overwhelmed, and you will not be able to achieve your goals, because you want to do a lot of things in a very short span, or you want to do so much. Yeah. So definitely, when the brains you will not be able to achieve that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, so and this is something that there was one time I went to Western, yeah, and when I went to Western, I was given ugali. Yeah.
Kina nyongesa.
Yeah. So I was given ugali in a plate. So I had visited an old lady. I was doing some training there, and so ugali was brought, and they brought a full plate of ugali. Yeah, which I thought that we were going to eat all of us. Yeah. And little did I know that we were going to share. Everybody is going to have their full plate of ugali.
As big as yours was.
Yeah, as big as mine was. So everybody was to have his or her mountain of ugali and eat it. And then they brought a bowl of vegetables. Yeah, very small bowl.
Kidogo,
Kidogo sana. So you are supposed to cut small pieces, touch on the vegetables, and then eat. For me, I did not understand that. So by the third bite, the vegetables were done, and the ugali was like only 2%. Yeah. Yeah, I was not able to finish the ugali. Yeah, but the other people, you could see they managed. By cutting small pieces. Yeah,
they knew how to go about it.
Yeah, they knew how to go about it. Yeah. Small pieces, and at the end of it, they were able to finish the ugali. So what am I saying? We want to do everything in one setting, yeah, or in a very short time. Yeah. You want to achieve everything, you cannot be able to do that. Yeah, so you can only maybe focus on one area. Let's say, for example, or specific areas. Say that we are going to focus on this. This is what can give maybe big results, and then after that, you get motivated even to achieving the other areas. So the other issue is also timelines. Sometimes we also give ourselves timelines or deadlines on when we are going to achieve that. Yeah. So you realize, yes, we have set goals, but they are not really goals. They are just you have a dream, but you have not even put systems, because that is also another thing to achieve that. Yeah.
Exactly.
So once you set this big goal, like how are you going to set? How are you going to break that? Yeah. How you are going to break that so that you can achieve that? Yeah. So you want to save 100,000 by the end of the year. So how can you break that 100,000
into small goals?
In a month. Let's say, for example, you want to save 120,000. That means every month you need to save 12,000. 10,000.
10K, yes.
Then you divide by 4 in a month. Maybe let's say, for example, 4 months. 4 weeks. Yeah. Divide the 10,000 by 4 weeks. You are
so
going
it's
to
2525.
Yeah, 2525. Yeah. Then even that 25 you can divide. If you work 5 days in a week, you can divide in the 5 days. You are going to see you're going to save 500. Yeah. Then after you see that, you ask yourself, where am I going to save this money? Is it in the piggy bank? Is it in the bank? Is it through M-Pesa? Where are you going to save that? Yeah.
Exactly.
And then you set that system. Yeah. So now you've broken your goal even to a daily routine.
Exactly. Yeah. And our goals, like we were all taught in school, should be smart. Small, measurable, attainable, timely.
Yeah, so
realistic, those goals.
Yeah, so they should be smart, yeah.
Exactly.
So they should be specific, as we have said.
Specific,
measurable.
Exactly, yes.
They should be achievable, attainable,
yes.
Such that
realistic again.
Realistic,
exactly.
Yeah, and time bound, yeah. Sometimes people even set goals which are not attainable, yeah. So and then you realize this cannot be achieved within this period. So we should have smart goals, yeah.
Wow. There's one thing that I think. And with all due respect to the men and women of God, we hear every new year tukivuka mwaka tunasikia this is the year of ABC, hii kanisa, kuna hii, the year of this and that. I have been thinking actually from when tuliruka mwaka, I've been thinking, how does this affect people? Because the moment a man of God with an authority, the kind of authority and heshima tunawapatia like our spiritual fathers, how does that affect people, not even now the business community? How do you think, what's the impact of a man of God saying, this is the year of, let's say, overcoming failures? How do you think that happens? How do you think that affects washirika wake kanisani? I've really, imenisumbua sana actually the last 4 days. Like, which voice do you follow? Of course, there's a place I go to, but with all this is the year of salvation, this is the year of builders, this is the year of whatever. How do you think that affects people in their outlook? When I'm looking at now from like January to December, how does that affect people?
Actually, it's a very good thing. Actually, it's a very positive thing from where
you see, I'm not even saying it's negative. Yeah. How does that affect people? Like, it could be a positive outcome or even an, okay, when I hear the year of, let's say, let me use the word builders, where a fellowship, we are told, there are kingdom builders rising. So if I am not doing anything necessarily myself, and I believe that, or once I get that message, which is a very positive message, how do I begin to align maybe my business goals, which may not necessarily be relatable to the word that they have shared? How does that affect me, my mindset, for a whole 1 year?
Yeah, so as I said, it's a very good thing. Yeah? It's a very positive thing. Yeah,
it is very positive.
So when Americans, let's say, give one example, when Americans wanted to go to the moon, the president there then, it was a very expensive affair. Yeah, you can imagine, like in Kenya, you already have the economy dipping, and then somebody is saying we need to do a big project like this one.
Exactly.
So he had to bring the country to believe that it can be done, taking people to the moon.
Exactly.
So you have this big dream that not many people can believe.
Exactly.
But you need to tell people this can be done.
Yeah, true.
Because as human beings, we are very skeptical. We don't believe things. Yeah, we don't believe things. Yeah, and we also have these small dreams. Yeah, but now you have somebody who has this big dream and says we can go to the moon.
Exactly.
You can imagine somebody in a rural America thinking, is it really possible? Yeah, but now the president is coming and guiding the country, saying we can go to the moon and it can be done. And when they did that, Americans were very happy, and even the whole world was very happy. Like man has conquered the outer space.
Wow.
And even after that, you have seen now explorations in the outer space. So what I'm saying is, that is a very good thing, because for human beings the way we are, we really need that push. We require that push. The unfortunate thing is that some people don't really understand the message very well. I can tell you, it's like giving somebody a very powerful car and they don't know how to operate it.
It is true, very true.
Yeah. So what will happen is that they might not see value in it. So what happens is that so when you are told this is a year of building, it can be building your family, it can be building your business, it can be building something. Yeah, it's like giving that push, or being given that push, because for you to do things, yes, you must believe, and you must now put action into it. Yeah, so it's a very good thing, because for you to be able to achieve goals, you must be positive about the way the world is operating. You must have that push, that small push, and that is what is going to get you going, because there are so many obstacles that you're going to experience when you want to achieve your dream. So any push that you can get, be it spiritual, be it from wherever, it is going to be all from your parents, or from your brother, or from your siblings, or from your mother, or that small push. Yeah, that is why you hear mothers telling their young ones, oh, you're going to be a pilot, they are going to be doctors. You can imagine that the mother is trying to instill confidence in this kid.
Exactly.
The mother is trying to support these kids so that they can be able to dream big.
It is true.
Yeah, and you have had some people achieving very many milestones, and they say, my mother told me I can be able to do this. My mother supported me. Yeah, so that support is very good. So I can say it's a good thing. Yeah.
So we've said that the economy is dipping. What can we, as business owners, look into or plan for? As we don't know, we have no idea how 3, 4, 5 months will be from now, but with the way the 2023 year ended, everybody was, businesses were really badly beaten. So how can I as a business person be realistic enough with the current economic situation when I'm planning and doing the goal setting?
Good. So in business, there is what we call the internal environment and also the external environment. The external environment is what we have said, like the economy.
Exactly.
Yeah. So when you're planning, you should factor all these things. Like you're saying the economy is not going to be good. So when you're planning, or it can be even better. It can be either way. So when you're planning, there is that aspect of external environment. It can be good, or it can be very shaky. So what are we saying? Maybe there is a recession. So even when you're planning, you need to plan in such a way that your business is not going to be adversely affected by that.
Exactly.
So like the issue of cost. So that means when you're planning your cost, you should make sure that your costs are maintained at a certain level. Maybe even customers. That means you should even treat your loyal customers like they are kings and queens. Yeah,
because you need them. You need them.
So you need, if you have a team, you need to tell them things are these, as you can see as we're going to this year.
Exactly.
So even when you're planning, our customers now we need to treat them even better because we might lose them, and if you lose a customer in such a situation, it can be a very tough thing. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So and the external environment is a lot of things, even competitors. So when you are planning, you maybe last year you saw somebody you are doing a salon at Kinyozi, and then you have seen another person has opened a Kinyozi towards the end of next to you or in your locality.
Yeah.
So what does that mean to you?
Competition. Exactly.
Yeah. So how are you going to overcome this competition? Because that is an external environment. That is something that you cannot control. Yeah. So you need to, even when you're planning, you need to factor in, like somebody can open a shop next to me, a shop next to me, and the same customers, the same clientele. So how are you going to handle that? How are you going to improve your services? How are you going to diversify so that even by the time they are opening, you're already ahead of them.
Exactly.
Yeah. So you need to have that eye. Yeah. And also quick decision making. Yeah. I had a friend when COVID came, because even pandemics like COVID came,
can affect us.
Yeah, so when COVID came, I had this friend of mine. It was a business of selling a boutique. He had a boutique. He had a few boutiques here and there.
Yeah.
So what happened is that when COVID came and he saw the first month he didn't sell, he's a he keeps a lot of very good records. Yeah?
Wow.
So he has these boutiques, I think there were 3. Yeah. So when he found that the first month he didn't sell, then he realized if we continue on like this for another 3 months, 6 months, it is going to wipe out my capital.
Exactly.
So what did he do? The second month he went direct. He made a decision immediately that if we continue like this, things are going to be bad. So he immediately went and told the landlord, "I'm not going to be renting again." Yeah.
Wow.
So he combined all the shops in one shop. So you can see that is a person who is forecasting. He already have that data that if we continue like this, things are going to be bad. Yeah. So and there are some people who hold on. Maybe to something that is sinking, and maybe a lot of people, if they made quick decisions, then they could have saved something. Yeah,
something true.
Yeah. So and what happens? Maybe just go back. So when you're planning, when you're doing business planning, it has several plans that you need to do. So you have the first plan is a sales and marketing plan.
Yeah, true.
So how are you going to meet your customer needs and demands? So how much sales are you going to be selling?
Making.
Yeah. So that is a sales and marketing plan. Then you have a production cost, or the cost plan. Yeah. So the production and cost plan. So how are you going to produce these goods, or the cost that you're going to incur when you are producing
those goods?
Like on a month on, how many costs do you incur in your business? Maybe people don't know. Maybe rent, employees, distribution costs, all those things. Yeah. So how are the costs? So you as you said, you must know where you are. So you have data for 1, 2, 3 years. Maybe last year but one. So you knew that last year the distribution costs were this much, for this month. It is like this. Are they rising? Are they falling? Yeah. Like there is fuel.
Yeah, true.
Fuel has gone up. So you can some of the distribution costs you can see they are going up. Yeah.
It is true.
Then after you do the sales and distribution cost, you now do the profit plan. Yeah. So you have a profit plan. So how much profit do you want every month to be making?
Wow.
Yeah. And then after that you have the cash flow plan. Yeah. So a cash flow plan is how much money is coming in and out of your business. So you need to have that cash flow plan. How much money is coming in and out of your business. So you need to have these records. And lastly, maybe if you have to take a loan, you want to take a loan, you need to understand what is the loan plan. So I'm going to take a loan for 100,000, for 1 million. I'm going to be paying this amount of installment in 12 months or in 1 year. So can my business be able to afford that? Yeah?
Exactly.
Instead of doing things without plans. So sometimes that is why we find ourselves in businesses in a crisis. So even when you're doing cash flow plan, sometimes you have seen a person have sold, but because he did not have a cash flow plan, they have sold and money is out there, and they cannot be able to meet their needs like rent. Yeah. Wow. So that is very important. Those are very important plans that we need to have in business. Yeah,
Wow,
and
very informative.
record keeping is very critical. Because,
Very informative.
and having systems so that they can give you records. Yeah.
Wow. Now, juzi jana, I was actually at, I was prospecting in an automobile company for curtain blinds, the window blinds. So the one thing I was asked by the Muhindi is that we are going to ask for, I think they said an e-teams invoice or something. That is something, I was totally caught off guard by that. And he even told me, even the boda guy, the rider that you saw walk out, we also need that going forward because of the finance bill last year. How do you think that is going to affect businesses? How ready are we? And because I know you are in the tax and the audit manenos, tuelimishe kidogo on the expected, what we are expected to do as business owners this year.
So what is happening is that the government is now closing in on businesses. And everybody now needs to pay taxes. Yeah?
Exactly.
So the government is closing in. And so they need to capture all these expenses we say. Let's say, for example, for that guy. So when you put cutting for him, the Muhindi.
Yeah, the Muhindi, yes.
When you put cutting for him, he needs to expense that. So, so what happens? Maybe to take you back a little bit. When you, the government taxes you the profit that you get.
Exactly.
So when you sell, you sell. Once you sell, you minus the expenses or the costs, and then so let's say for example you sold 100,000, and then you use 90,000 as expenses and other costs. Yeah.
Exactly.
So you are left with 10,000.
10K, yeah.
So 10,000 is what the government is going.
It's coming for now.
Is going to tax you. 30% of that is what the government is going to tax you.
Was that was not before the...
That is what happens. So now what is happening, the government has realized, I make 100,000, that person makes 100,000, but they put a lot of expenses.
Expenses, yes.
So these 10,000 I get, so they put a lot of expenses.
The Kenyans.
So they say that, for example, those curtains I bought at 90,000.
The fundi I paid 50.
The food I paid 50,000. So the 10,000
is my profit.
So you find that maybe they made 5,000 instead of the 10,000 because they inflated some.
Exactly, costs.
Some cost. So what the government is doing now is saying, that person you paid that 20,000.
We want to know.
We also want to know.
Wow.
So that person has also to be in our system.
So that we're able to see.
So we can see that this person paid this person 10,000. This other person paid this other person 20,000. Yeah. So even you are supplying, they can see that your income was this, and your income was an expense to the other person. So there is no way you can hide. So the government now is closing in on people, on businesses. Yeah. So that is why they have brought
because
the
we've
system.
been liars for a very long time, businessmen and women.
So that is what they have been. They are closing in, which is not a bad thing. Yeah. Actually, it's not a bad thing. People don't realize is that many businesses, even if they were to do the right thing, they might maybe even pay very little taxes.
It is true.
Yeah, because you might find even what the person is making is not that much. Yeah, it's very small. So it is not a bad thing per se, but what people need now to do is they need to align themselves with the government, the government, what the government wants, and then they can be able to pay those taxes. Yeah, because the cost of not paying or the cost of not complying is even heavy, because you can even close businesses. The penalties, the government, the KRA is going to
impose on
you
yeah,
are very big. So what we are saying is, so complying is the best thing.
It is the best. Actually, you know, if you look at it, I think we are so, we've seen, we as Kenyans have been used to seeing our money get wasted all over, you know, corruption and all that. So somebody feels, why should I declare that I made 70,000 to the government so that they tax this? Niseme tu nitafute njia za kumanuva, I say, I made only 15K, so they only tax that amount of money. But when you look at it on the flip side, this information, this data you're keeping here for yourself, because obviously by the moment you have that, you have quantifiable data, you can access a loan facility very fast. you're able to know how much did it becomes very easy.
Yeah, actually, setting systems, like having a system in your business, keeping the right records,
Yeah, true.
is going, because even like the way you were saying, the lady lost 200,000.
Exactly.
Even a lot of money get lost because of not having the right system, because of not keeping records. And even when people like Kirai come, because you didn't have good records, you are going even to lose much more money. So what you are saying is complying. I know it is a change, and as human beings we don't like change, but eventually the government is going to catch up with us. So the earlier we start, the better.
The better.
Yeah, so the earlier we start, the better. So records are very important, and we support people in that. And even we train them, and we can give them free consultancy and tell them this is what you are going to do, you are supposed to do, so that you can put your house.
Free consultancy.
Yeah. So explaining to you, like this is what you are going to do, this is what you are going to do, this is what you should do. Like we also even do training sometimes even online.
Okay.
Free, and tell them you're supposed to pay these taxes. This is the changes that are coming in, so that the businesses people can be able to do. Now after that, if they want us to do the accounting or the audit, that is now when we are going to charge them.
To charge them. Wow. So maybe we should be organizing one very soon.
Yeah, we do organize online. Most of the time we do.
Online,
but even physically, we are going to organize maybe sometime.
Okay.
But most of the time we do them online.
Okay. Wow. So anything to encourage a business owner somewhere as we close, your closing remarks on planning and goal setting?
So it's not that difficult, and plans should not be made that they are very hard. Plans are very simple. You can have a simple plan that tells you moving from point A to point B. It is going to help you bring, maybe you have a partner, maybe you have a spouse, maybe you have staff that you are working with. It is going to help them bring their minds together, so that you can all pull in one direction. And also it is going to help you measure as you go along. Maybe after 3 months, you're going to measure
Your
performance, where we are, and where we need to go. If you are a person who wants to take a loan, having good plans, that means you can go to the bank and you are not going to be disappointed, because maybe you already have very good plans that you can be able to explain to the credit manager or the bank manager that this is what I require. Then also it helps you to see your business in a 360 degrees. So plans, records are very good, and even systems. So having a system in your business. So don't plan in your head alone as a business owner. If you have people who are supporting you, make sure that they help you and you put those plans on paper. Then with the support of your team, they can help you execute it. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much, Mr. Mutonyi, CEO GoldPlus Advisory. We thank you so much for watching this. We hope that you have a great year. As a business owner, it is important to plan and also have serious goal setting for your business. And I hope you've learned something today. Thank you so much once again. We are at the Vicmark Hotel right in the heart of Nakuru City. Karibuni huku. As business owners, there are amazing conference facilities. There are accommodation facilities. There's a rooftop lounge, and there's also a restaurant that you can walk in and walk out for your lunch or even your dinner meals. So my name is Eunice Njeri. Kwaherini. See you next time.
Mamlaka Television, impacting generations.